Seems like one in my position would be excited, nervous, and intimidated to meet John Lennon. Surprisingly, I hardly seemed worked up about it at all. John was the one that was a total mess. In my heart, I was nearly out of my mind, but kept my head for the negotiations, playing hard to get here today. With all that had transpired, John was extremely depressed and not at all enthusiastic about going on as if Paul was still with him. He said, "It's over. You don't know what it was like. The more that some devotees worshipped us, the more others wanted us crucified. People shot at our planes." "Don't turn your back on Paul," Brian said. "Not now. He worked this out." Everything John said suggested discouragement, depression, and growing apathy. It was only for Paul that he considered discussing the possibility of going on at all. John had had enough of making records and touring. With Paul dead, it seemed pointless. He said, "We worked all those years, each of us, for what? We got all that fame and made all the money. Now Paul isn't with us to spend it. What good is it to him now? It's all for nothing, all for nowhere." "Sounds hard to keep going, I know," I said. "But has Paul ever quit on you? I doubt it. Don't you ever quit on him. He worked it out to continue in me. Now that Paul has put me here in this position, don't let him down. Don't let me down. Now I am Paul McCartney." My boldness surprised everyone, myself included. As I said it, I felt very powerful. They felt that undeniable power in me as well. As I spoke, no one could deny what I was saying. I mean, they all knew I was myself, William, but none could deny that I was now in Paul's place. For John, I never needed any audition. It was not for anyone to decide if I should get the part at that point. Being beyond that, it was about comforting John and giving him the courage to keep the Beatles going without Paul. Brian, Neil, and I all gave John the encouragement he needed to go through with Paul's plan. We should have realized that it was beyond an issue that we needed to discuss. He would do it. How could he not? It was just hard for him to willingly take hold of the reins at that point. That lack of leadership on his part was helpful. Before he could express that concern, I relieved him of it. He said that neither he nor George nor Ringo were ready to go back on tour again anytime soon. John said that even if they did, I could never impersonate Paul in front of a live audience. Even if Brian taught me Paul mannerisms, our stage look and routine would be off. John, Paul, and George were all the same height and had always stood next to each other, head to head. They all shared 2 microphones. Even if surgeries could make me look like Paul, I could never be shorter than I already was. Paul at that age could not instantly grow a few inches taller. 10 years earlier, they could have called it a growth spurt, but